Hello friends, vinyl community. Welcome to episode 90 of the Vinyl Survivor. Just one quick programming note before we get started here. There should be two Vinyl Survivor episodes this week, one on today, Monday, and one on Friday. And then next week there will be one episode on Wednesday, but I am going to be doing one beer review each day next week. So on Wednesday there's going to be a beer review and a Vinyl Survivor. So if you're just here for the vinyl, then be sure to not overlook that episode of the Vinyl Survivor that'll be out on Wednesday. Yeah, let's just go ahead and get into this episode. Pretty good looking episode here. So let's talk about this first album. This is another release from this year, 2014. This is a new release from the Antlers. This is titled Familiars. I believe this is technically the sixth studio album, but really only the third. Depending on how you look at it, the first couple albums were a solo project by the lead artist in the band. Some very rough sort of home recordings and stuff. And then it actually turned into a band, and then there was also an EP a couple years ago, Undersea. But anyway, this is their newest album, just released earlier this year, 2014. A really great album from them. If you're not familiar with the Antlers, they do a very sort of emo, ambient rock. Not even quite sure how to explain. It's really hard to explain. Very, very lush, moody, can sound depressing at times, very emotional, poppy kind of stuff, sort of that modern pop rock emo kind of stuff, but really good. This was a really nice release from them, a really great album. In my opinion, this is the best thing they've done since Hospice. I don't think there is any way to top Hospice because that's just a perfect and beautiful album. But this is right up there with it. This is some really good material in here. They do get a little more jazzy, a little more soul jazzy sounding here at times. There's some like saxophone in here, a little bit of like organ, Hammond organ kind of stuff in here. And this is their first full release on the Anti record label. The EP Undersea was also on Anti. But this is their first full release on Anti. A really nice 2 LP set. You do get an actual physical CD, which is nice. 2 pieces of black vinyl. Not too much interesting there. It is mastered by Jay Lambert at JLM. If that means anything to you. So yeah, that's the Antlers-Familiars from 2014. I'll be talking about this one a lot more in my best of, I'm sure. I'm sure this is going to make my best of list. So, a great album from the Antlers. Okay, going all the way back to 1981 now. This is an album from the band Electric Light Orchestra, or ELO as they're more commonly known as. This is their album Time from 1981. A space rock, space synth pop, like a concept album almost. Very, very sort of it tells a story of a man who, from the 1980s, who is sent to the year 2095, I think it is, and it's really definitely a change of pace from ELO. Before this, they did, you know, Discovery and the soundtrack to Xanadu. Very disco-y kind of stuff. Heavy disco-y, lots of strings and stuff in there. And this is definitely very much a change of pace for them. Definitely moving into a very synth pop sort of sound. Really a great album. I love this album to death. As much as I didn't like Discovery, I love this album Time. Just a killer album all the way through. They experiment a lot with different things. There's a track on here that's almost like an instrumental track that I love called Another Heart Breaks. That's the only lyric that's in the song is Another Heart Breaks. So it's basically an instrumental. Really great hidden track, or not hidden track, but a deep track on this album. You got Hold On Tight, which was a big hit for them. Twilight was a big hit. Ticket to the Moon, I've heard before. Heard some of these others before here and there. I can't say enough good things about this. This is the ELO I love. Is very synthy, modern stuff. And the earlier stuff before they got into the disco period, there's just that. The strings just it just kills it. I can't. That's the biggest thing with disco is I just can't deal with the strings. I just can't handle it. So if you're more into synth pop or modern pop or space rock type stuff, this would be an ELO album for you. Insert here with lyrics and liner notes. And this is on Jet Records. I didn't mention this, but this is a UK pressing of the album, but it was mastered by Alan Zent in LA, so sent a plate over from the US to press this in the UK. ELO's Time, killer album. Thanks, Matt, for mentioning this in one of your videos and how it sounded different, and definitely this is something much more right up my alley. I might have overlooked this after hearing some of the later sort of disco-y kinds of stuff from ELO. I might have overlooked this one, so I'm glad I didn't, so thanks for that. And I highly recommend this album. This is a great album from them. Okay, next thing we have here is an album from Sade from 1988. This is Stronger Than Pride. Don't need to say too much about this. It's Sade. Most people know whether they like Sade or not. I'm not a huge fan, but I do appreciate her music, and it's really nice and peaceful to put on sometimes. This is another UK pressing. I believe I found this at the same time I found the ELO and a few others. Hit a string of UK pressings at a thrift store one time, and found some really nice stuff. Yeah, UK pressing on Epic. Insert with some lyrics, some more liner notes, and there she is with some hot-looking boys there, so that's nice. But yeah, Sade, Stronger Than Pride, pretty much a classic album from her, and I enjoyed it, and this one's going to be staying in my collection. Alright, next up we have something from the 90s, something from my high school days. This is what I was into in high school. I couldn't resist getting this on vinyl. I've had it on CD forever, and this is a reissue, modern reissue, and it's not the greatest reissue, but I just had to have it on vinyl. So this is Dr. Dre's The Chronic, a classic hip-hop album. Definitely this is the album that made hip-hop cool. Before this, all my friends were listening to, you know, Nirvana and Pearl Jam and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, I was in my hip-hop phase heavily. All of a sudden, we could actually listen to hip-hop together because they wanted to hear Dr. Dre. Definitely a classic album. Very memorable album for me, and a very sort of put Dr. Dre on the map, even though he had a pretty long career beforehand. This one does have a nice little insert with some little bit of liner notes there. It is a double LP because this album's fairly long. Just black vinyl there with the pot leaves, and not much needs to be said. This is a modern reissue. You can find it anywhere for under $20. I actually picked this up used for even less. I think it was around $10. Okay, next album we have to talk about today is sort of a solo, not a solo, but a break-off project of 10cc. This is Godley and Creme, after they left 10cc, I believe, is Goodbye Blue Sky from 1988. This is kind of an odd album. I really thought I was going to like this a lot, and I like 10cc a lot. This just didn't work for me. It has a very sort of, I don't want to say rootsy, but it has sort of that almost, it's kind of weird. I can't really explain why I don't like this. I just don't like it. It's almost that fake Americana kind of feel to me. I don't, it's weird. There's a lot of like harmonica playing, and it sounds almost like church music, but it's not church music, if that makes any sense. It has that sort of sound to it that's kind of like, you know, it's trying to be hip and cool, but it's not. There is one standout track on here that I love, but it's not worth me keeping the album for, and that's Crime and Punishment. It doesn't fit the rest of the album, but it's an awesome song. If the rest of the album were more like that, I would love it. But yeah, this one is not going to be staying in the collection, unfortunately. Thought I was going to love it. I love the album cover. That's just killer. That the harmonica is like a bridge there. That's pretty cool. Very cool artwork. I didn't even look here. I don't know if this is maybe a Hypnosis cover or something. Doesn't look like a Hypnosis cover, but that doesn't mean anything. Let's see here. Okay, sleeve designed by Icon London. There's the insert with lyrics. It's on the red Polydor label. So yeah, that's Godley and Creme's Goodbye Blue Sky. Unfortunately not staying in the collection. What I think the standout track is on here is Crime and Punishment. So if you think you're curious, look that one up, but remember that the rest of the album is nothing like that. So unfortunately not going to be keeping that one Okay, now we're going to go back to 1984, and this is Thomas Dolby's The Flat Earth. Another one that I didn't know what I was getting into. I mean, I know Tom Dolby, but I didn't really know any of the songs off of here. You know, I see this one a lot in the bins, but I don't know, I didn't recognize any of the songs as being something that was a hit or anything, so I don't know why it was so popular. But it is a very good album, a very different album than I expected. This is a lot more jazzy. It's still synthy and poppy and all the Tom Dolby kind of stuff. It's very modern jazzy. Really has a bit of a datedness to it, a bit of that 80s smooth, not smooth jazz, but sort of funky jazz sound to it. But a really cool album. You know, it just kind of mixes the jazz and the synthy, poppy type stuff together really well. Insert there, some liner notes and lyrics on it, and it's on the Capitol Rainbow label, and it is mastered at Capitol by WLY. That's Wally Troggett, well-loved mastering engineer, and I have to agree, all the stuff I've heard so far sounds good. This one is no exception. Sounds good. So yeah, that's Thomas Dolby's The Flat Earth. Synthy, jazzy, very modern in an 80s way sounding, but a good album and a keeper for me. I did enjoy this. I didn't love it. It didn't blow me away, but it's a good solid album and an enjoyable album. So that one's staying in the collection. Okay, next up we have a release from the Casket Girls from last year, 2013, right near the end of the year. I think maybe this came out on Black Friday Record Store Day 2013 or somewhere around that period. I know it came in right near the end of the year. This one did make my best of list last year, and just now getting to the point of filing it away. It's sort of been sitting out in the living room there. I've been playing this one a lot this year. Really beautiful, beautiful album. The best from the Casket Girls I've heard so far. They seem to be getting better as working as a group. This is done by Ryan Graveface and then two sisters, Phaedra and Elsa Green, whom Ryan discovered. They were singing in one of the parks in Savannah, Georgia. I don't know if you've ever been to Savannah, Georgia, but the city is laid out very evenly with squares, and then every so often you get like a small park, square kind of park where people can gather and enjoy themselves, and there's sculptures and gardens and fountains and stuff like that. A beautiful city, absolutely visit it if you ever have the chance to visit. I love going to Savannah. Back to the music. This is very ambient vocal kind of sounds. You know, there are lyrics, but it's more their voices and how they're singing rather than what they're singing, with ambient electronic backing to them. Is a lyric sheet in here. And then this is a very, very pretty piece of vinyl. Difficult to make this show up properly here, but just a beautiful mixture of bright colors. So yeah, that's Casket Girls, True Love Kills, the fairy tale from 2013. Definitely, absolutely staying in the collection. As I said, I've been having trouble getting this filed away because I keep listening to it, but it's just beautiful. If you like that sort of vocal, electronic, very heavenly, ambient kind of stuff, then check this one out. It's great stuff, and they keep getting better and better. As I said, they keep getting stronger as a group. Look forward to more things from them. Alright, next thing I have here to talk about is a 12-inch from Howard Jones. This is the 12-inch for Everlasting Love. Of course, very well-known Howard Jones song. An 808 mix, and then the LP version, and then there are two extra tracks on here, The Brutality of Fact and Power of the Media. Both pretty good tracks. I think I like Power of the Media the best out of those two. So I don't normally keep 12 inches, but I like this song, and I liked it. There's bonus tracks on here that aren't available on the LP Elektra Red and Black label. So it's Howard Jones, Everlasting Love, 12-inch, staying in the collection. Alright, next up we have an album from Return to Forever. This is Romantic Warrior from 1976. You know, fusion jazz stuff here. This is another one that I didn't love as much as I thought I was gonna love it. It's very much talked about in the vinyl community. And it's a good album, and it's good fusion jazz type stuff. But it's okay. It's not mind blowing. It's just good, solid fusion jazz. I don't think it's better than anything else. It's just sort of good and enjoyable. I am gonna keep this. It's good music, but it's not mind blowing in any way. Sheet here, which is kind of getting blown out there, but Columbia red and orange label. So yeah, that's Return to It Forever. It's good, it's solid, fusion jazz type stuff, but not mind-blowing in any way, just okay. Okay, and the last thing I have to talk about, something I've talked about before in the Vinyl Survivor, I think, so I won't spend too much time on it, but just show it real quickly. This is Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark, or OMD's Architecture and Morality from 1981. This is a UK pressing. I think I found this along the same time, and I found the ELO UK and the Sade pressing, UK pressing. This one does have a die-cut cover, which is kind of cool. The inner sleeve, which made the cover art for the US pressing. This is the one this is my US pressing that I've talked about before in the past. Just a really good, enjoyable album from OMD. I really like this one. This is the one with Joan of Arc on it. Yeah, UK pressing on DIN disc. So thank you for watching again. If you've made it this far, I know this is probably going to be a long episode. Just remember, next week there will be one episode of the Vinyl Survivor, and there's going to be one more this week as well. Stay tuned for that. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you're doing well. Hope your holidays are going well if you celebrate. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you again next time. Cheers.